Welcome to the pre-ride of Waaslandcross in Sint-Niklaas. This is my second time doing the course, but the first time was in 2016, like 5 years ago. That's a half a decade. That's a real long time ago. And I remembered some of the course. I remember the up-de-doos and downy-doos and the beach. That's it. The rest was essentially new to me. This is the start-finish straight. It's mildly cobbled, ? Nice little paver stone things there. Sweeping left-hand turn. And if you notice, there's a curb, but I'm pretty sure they put a little cement like ramp just for the race, which I'm really glad because otherwise I'd die. I would die. I wouldn't even be able to do it on a regular lap, let alone the first lap. So the ground is a little bit soggy, but nothing really that was sticking to the bikes. Left-hand turn, a little sweeper, and then we set up and we go straight into a run-up. So first lap, I don't know what the heck. I mean, look, I kind of rode pretty far up that. I never did that in the race. First lap, I just walked up. Girls were passing me. I was like, you guys, you're doing great. Keep going. Hop on and go for a big old downy-do. There's a little ridge here, and you hug it tight on the left so it's a smooth transition. Otherwise, you have an extra pump up, and then you have to do the right-hand turn, and then you have this big up-de-do. And, you know, this was a crapshoot as to whether or not I could ride it. For some reason, some people could ride that first run up and not this, and then I couldn't ride that, but sometimes I could ride this. So I hop back on, you shoot back down, but you're cutting across this camber, and there was a rut that hugged high, but if you go wide, I could usually ride this. Actually, in the race, I was lamenting to the guy up top because I was like, dude, I rode this in pre-ride, I swear. And he's like, you did? And I was like, yeah. And then luckily he was there for the last lap because I was like, watch me, yo. And then I finally rode it after not riding it the whole race. So plunge down, right-hand turn, go through the woods here, and this is mulch, but imagine some ball bearings, but maybe a little bit flatter and chopped up and made of wood. So mulch, imagine mulch. And that's what this surface is. And this turn right here, it was actually really loose. And at one point I tried to take the turn a bit too hot, lost my front wheel, ejected over the bars. But when I say that, I mean, I ejected over the bars feet first. It was really impressive. I wish you could have been there. So that was finish out of the mulch, left-hand turn. We're coming by pit 1. And I think I'm going to stop and hand my bike over the fence and change tire pressure. And then I got my bike back. It was like magic. Exit of pit 1, and now we're back on grass. And then we're going to hop over this little guy, boop, boop, right-hand turn. And again, this grass right here, it's like not slick, it's not slimy. I think I was riding Maxxis all-terrain, which is a mid-tread. A lot of people, I think, started on files. I debated files. I've been wanting to ride my speed trains all freaking season, but I did not today. Oh, this real abrupt ditch. That's like, hey, if you're coming in too hot, I don't know if you would survive if you didn't know that was there. Transition over some tram tracks, ? Left-hand turn back over the tram tracks, ? Now we're going to go into some woods here, and as you can see painted, there are some roots on the ground, inconsequential, they were non-features, but there's a tree. They marked the tree because heaven forbid you hit a tree, but okay, they mark trees in the middle of the course, but then they line the course with basically small trees, those wooden posts. Left-hand turn, mulch, exit, pump over this thing, and then this is fun, guys. Plunge down, off camber, it's real slick, there's a little rut, and then there's just the freaking lake. They weren't even like, we're going to put fence here in case somebody falls into the lake. There was a little fencing, but the eject zone, it continued quite a ways. If this was earlier in the lap, I'm pretty sure lap 1, you'd have to really plan to try to be high side. This is a bit of a camber here. You can't quite see. But as we learned in the last video, shit rolls downhill, and I was having a real shitty day. So I was the one that was going to go in the lake, if you know what I mean. So now we're going to do off-camber climb up this little doodad. Pump, 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 turn. Good thing we're going slow because, oh my God, concrete ditch coming at you again. I actually went up in tire pressure because of those concrete ditches. It was The down was okay because I could pump it, but trying to pedal out of it and like pumping up, I felt like I could have hit rim if I went any lower in pressure. So then sweeping right-hand turn, just a gradual camber with the lake to the right. And we're going to be making a left-hand turn here. So I liked setting up for the turn real wide and then using the uphill to dump a little bit of speed, which in that view, it didn't look like I needed to dump speed. Race pace, it was nice to use the uphill to dump speed so you didn't have to tap your brakes. Going by pit 2, and you're like, wait, didn't you just go by pit 1? We did. I think it was a short lap. I don't know how many laps we did. 6? It felt like a lot. It was a lot. Right hand U-turn after the pits. They like putting really awkward slow turns by the pits, so the mechanics are like, wait a second, don't look at my rider do this. It's real awkward. Or only my mechanics think that, because I'm not very good at those turns. Picking up some speed before this nice sweeping left-hand turn, and we're going. Some more roots on the ground there. Again, it's not too heavy here, but somehow I could always find like the sticky Velcro lines. Oh, it was just an insulting day out there, guys. It's like right off the first thing, you have some up-de-doos and downy-doos, and then you have some like embarrassment by the pits, and a lot of, look, all these off-campers that want to shoot you into the lake. And somehow this exit didn't seem as treacherous. Like I never thought I was going to end up in the water there. But this was a fun turn to be just like ripping fast, and then in the apex, you pick up the line. And this is one of those rare times where the line actually was where I wanted to ride. Sometimes the line ends up being a lot heavier, such as that on the other side of the lake, the ejection zone, the line was just real soggy. So I tried to stay high where the water may have been draining a little bit more and not like churned into squish. And other riders thought that too, because I noticed more and more tire marks. This little concrete step, hop over because, you know, I can't bunny hop. False flat little downhill with the nice paver stones, a little moment for some reprieve before we hit dun 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 some sand. Spoiler alert. So stick the rut, and for some reason I didn't like have my eyes up the first time I did this, and I just immediately tried to go left when clearly the line was to go right to the hard packed sand. So this is just an insulting slog across this beach. Fun fact, when I did ride this race for the first time, Emma White was also there, and back at the van, Emma White goes, oh man, I think the tide's coming in, that line is really changing. And I look at Emma and I go, Emma, this is a very small man-made lake. There are no tides. In her defense, though, she grew up next to an ocean, and I do think the winds changed a little bit that day and did bring the water in. So no embarrassment to Emma. It's an easy mistake to make, but I did enjoy that moment because I was almost easily convinced. Also, so here, earlier in the day, I did a lap with Manon, and she charged past me on this left line, and I was like, oh yeah, that must be real hard packed there. By the way, ride the sand only to be forced to dismount at these stairs? Insulting. Anyways, tried that left line in the race thinking like, oh, this is the line. It was not the line. Like 5 people passed me because they were just like, what's this chick doing riding that nice fresh sand on the left there? We're just gonna rail this rut. God dang it. Had to go through a little heavy section before you dismount for the barriers, and then hop back on only mildly apathetically. A little bit of mud pile up in this turn. I was never sure whether to go inside or outside. Luckily, I rode most of the race alone, so it wasn't really a big deal what line I chose. Adjusting the camera there, because I'm always thinking of you, my viewers. Going through the grass here, and guys, our lap is almost over. We're gonna make this left-hand turn, hop up onto these. I keep calling these cobbles. I think it's just more ecologically conscious, like paver stones. So hop down this little ramp and stick this rut, and we're gonna do this right-hand turn in the sand. I think I'm doing this just for you. Am I still riding? I'm still riding. It's not fast. Oh no, it is not. In the race, I was dismounting even before the turn to run. And then I think once I realized I was alone, I just kept trying to ride. And like here, I think I had to put a foot down. But my last lap of the race, I did ride the whole thing. It was ungodly slow, but everyone at the 80% zone, I'm sure, was very impressed. They were like, oh, look at this American girl. She's going so slow in the sand. She should really work on her sand riding. That's what I was doing, guys. I know it was slow, but I rode it. You have to give me some credit. Anyways, yeah, I guess if you can ride the sand quickly, you're at a benefit because, as you can see, we went through the start grid, which honestly, if you can't tell this is the finish straight, you're fired. Stop watching these videos. You're learning nothing. So it'd be great to be able to be in your pedals to do this sprint finish and, ooh, bike through, ooh. Oh, God, the video ended and we haven't even crossed the finish line. This is so awkward. Story of my season. Anyways, only one more left for the year, and you better stay tuned because I'm going to make it and put it up. And if you don't watch it, I'll be real sad. I have no purpose left, really. Just watch these, please. I'm going to stop begging. Okay, bye.